War Eagle War Report family, I'm your host, C-Dub, and today's show is brought to you by the kind and generous folks over at GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. If you're a restaurant owner and you're looking for ways to save energy but not quite sure how to do that, please visit GWT2Energy.com. The weekend tailgate starts right now.
You are now listening to the unmistakable sound of the War Report Weekend Tailgate. It's your boy, I Jones. Be Will, C-Dub, Mike G. Get ready, sit on back as we bring you the War Report Weekend Tailgate.
War Eagle, and War Eagle War Report family, thanks for tuning in to the latest and greatest, the best online tailgate with no food, but a lot of great content for your enjoyment. It's the three amigos today, just me, Mike G, and Ike Jones. B. Will is here in spirit, but not here physically or presently, but you guys know what it is. Auburn family is always here, so as you're coming in, please do us a quick favor. Smash that like button, drop a comment in the chat, drop us a War Eagle. If you're new to the War Report and you're watching us live for the first time, we want to know where you're watching this from. Give us your city and state. And everyone, please, if you're enjoying this content, do us a favor and share this content on your social medias, guys. Please share and add us if you're on Twitter. Add us using the War Report and hashtag Get Your Weight Up. We'll appreciate that. That helps us out a ton. Letting people know we're out here dropping great content in the off season. Mike G, we got some great things coming up this week. Man. Let us know about it.
Man, listen, becoming insider. We are rapidly expanding our member content. So for those of you who are paid members of the War Report, we appreciate your support. We're taking that money and we're putting it back into developing content and giving you guys more for supporting us. So $5.99 a month will get you there. Our supporters still get early access to anything that we drop, as well as special emojis and other content. And during the season, our in-game chats are going to be member only. So if you want to chop it up with us during the season, you definitely want to get on that YouTube membership so you can be a part of that in-game chat. It's a great way for us to keep those chats troll free and create a great environment for you. Our merch store is live. You can hear our merch store. This link is in the about section of our YouTube channel. You can also go to thewarreport.com and it will take you to our merch store. In line with the merch store, we're giving away a Get Your Weight Up t-shirt again today. All you have to do is drop a hashtag Get Your Weight Up, all one word, in the comment section. And then at the hour mark, we're going to draw live on screen and we're going to send out a t-shirt, free t-shirt to you guys for just sticking with us. But you have to be present at the end. And if you are not present, we will redraw and we will give away to somebody who was live with us this whole time. So we appreciate our members and all our subscriptions. You guys are so awesome in supporting what we're doing. Also, we are dropping an interview tomorrow with the man, Alan Greene. That's yes. Green with an E on the end. This man is an amazing leader. He was very gracious to give us a little bit of his time. He doesn't do a lot of interviews, guys, but he decided to sit down and talk with us for about an hour about, the state of the program, being the man in charge, the pressures, the things around the program, hiring a new coach. So I was just kind of blown away by this conversation. Alan Greene getting to talk to him in person was even more than I had anticipated. Here's a little sneak preview of that interview drop tomorrow. There was a lot of speculation about who the next guy was going to be. A lot of people felt like, if you're going to pay a buyout like that, you need to go and get somebody high profile. You went a different direction in hiring Brian Harsin.
Auburn is a fantastic job. It's a hard one. It's not made. Everyone is not made for that job. Each institution has its own unique set of circumstances. Well, if they won 10 games or 11 games at school X, that's going to translate at our school. It doesn't work like that. It was really, really important that the next coach came in and won the locker room.
Listen, this was a tremendous conversation. A big shout out to Alan Greene for giving us the time to talk about, everything Auburn. He was just, we got a real insight into what that transition was like, and why the change was made. There's a lot of expectations at Auburn. As he said in that clip, it's not an easy job. It's not for everyone. They think they got their guy. If you watch this interview, he'll tell you why. Last but not least, our GoFundMe is up. We have partnered with the Lee County Humane Society to help save animals. I've been reached out to by a lot of you on Twitter saying that you guys love that we're supporting this cause. And you guys have sent pictures of your rescue animals. Mike and I got our rescues on this pic. But this is the good that we've chosen to put back into the world. To save an animal, a great pet adds so much value to your life. Those of you who have rescues, we want to help other people find that same joy. So you can find this link also in the about section of our YouTube channel. Ike has very conveniently placed it on our YouTube homepage too, in the top right corner, where you can click that. 50 cents on every dollar goes to saving an animal. The other 50 goes to helping us continue to grow our platform. And I've talked to the Lee County Humane Society people. They've got some great things coming that we will promote in the future as well, too. So we're appreciative of them for being in that partnership with us.
Yeah. I see some of y'all saying y'all already watched the interview, man. Let's listen. That's the perks of being an insider, is you get to see the stuff a little bit early, which you guys, I think that's might have been the biggest response we've had to Insider Drop so far, man. So it should tell you kind of how good that interview is.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So do we, a lot of people are asking about, like, how did you guys get Alan Greene? Right.
Yeah.
And
Walt specifically asked that here. He said, give us the backstory. How you got the interview.
Listen, my ties in the athletic department go deep. And I'm aging myself to say that it was nearly 20 years ago, right? But it was 20 years ago that I started working in there as a student videographer for the football team. And they have a guy there, this SID. His name is Kirk Sampson. Tremendous guy. Kirk has grown roots at Auburn. Right. And so, as our platform began to grow, we reached out to Kirk to say, hey, can we partner with the university on some things? And we got the conversation going. And let me tell you guys something about Alan Greene. Right. For as busy a guy as he is, he returns emails. And that's, some people they don't have the time of day for you. When you watch this interview, you'll understand just in the way he articulates himself, how he connects with people, like why we have an amazing athletic director at Auburn and a great leader. He remembers people's names. He's just not too good to talk to you. Right. And so in getting this interview, he sat down with us and just said, hey, listen, I like what you guys are doing. And it's my pleasure to be able to spend a little bit of time with you. It's funny. He said, how long do you guys want this interview to go? And I said, it's anywhere between 30 minutes and an hour. And he said, people are going to listen for that long? Right. And he's extremely humble because he doesn't like attention. Right. He doesn't like to be the center of attention. He just wants it to work. And he wants us to get the experience, that we want as fans. That's it. He wants student athletes to succeed. This guy is not a look at me guy. He doesn't want credit. Right. He just wants to do a good job. And I was completely blown away by that. So after we got connected, you guys saw that we dropped an interview with Bradley Larondo. We're starting to make connections with the athletic department there. But, it's just reaching out. In life, you never underestimate the power of networking. And I will say this kind of off topic, there's no such thing as a meaningless interaction to me. All right. Mm-hmm. When you talk to people and you ask somebody how their day is going, and you actually give a damn about how their day is going, it resonates with people, and, in reaching back out to Kirk, we hadn't talked in a decade, but, he remembers interactions that he had with me. And I remember interactions that I had with him that while they may have not seemed significant at the time, later on in life, it turns into, the war report and what you guys are seeing there. So this is in line with our mission to build community. That community is with you guys. It's with the athletic department. It's with former players. It's a stated goal of our channel is to build that community and connect fans with what we all come together to watch on Saturdays in different ways. So I hope that answers Walt's question.
Yeah, for sure. I see some other people talking about Harsin needs to be next. And listen, man, that would be a dream for us to be able to land that. Trust me, we want it just as much as you all do. Don't think we're sitting here just like resting on our laurels because we got Alan Greene. We definitely want to go out there and we want to talk to everybody, man. If they are connected to the Auburn family and the Auburn history, and they are eloquent enough to get on camera and talk, we want to have them on the War Report. Like that is not limited to it doesn't have to be, it's not like we're sitting here like handpicking our favorite players. We're talking to the people who want to talk to us, and we're going after some people who probably wouldn't likely know that we exist. But they've been gracious enough to say yes when we ask, right? So like it's not limited. Right. So if you guys have suggestions of people, you have connections to somebody, send them our way, man. We're going to go try to get. Listen, Lawrence said, get Gus on the War Report. If Gus wants to come and talk, by all means,
we can do that.
If he wants to come and talk, Lawrence,
if he wants to, it's on Gus. It's on Gus.
But here's what I can promise you. I'm not going to pull punches in the questions that I ask him. So if he wants to sit and have a real conversation about things that I have questions about, then by all means, he is welcome to come sit down and have a conversation with the report.
Yeah. We don't do frou interviews. That's not what we do. So
y'all know that by now.
Y'all trifling for that one, though. That's kind of trifling.
But people are mentioning this guy.
Bruce Pearl. Listen, we're open to get Bruce to sit down and talk with us. It doesn't just have to be football greats. Basketball. We're open to it.
I would love to talk to him too, because he's really engaging in when he does interviews and talking to people. So that will be fun for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? When I get asked a lot, people are just like, "What was the biggest thing you took away from your college experience?" And it was networking, right? At Auburn, where people will talk to you, and it was just an awesome opportunity to make connections that would span decades. And so there are people who have been working in that athletic department that have survived 3 or 4 coaches. Which is unusual. So, Kirk has been there through 3 coaches, right? Tuberville, Gus, and now Harsin.
4.
Chiswick. Yeah. How did I just leave Chiz out? That was our only national title.
You're probably right, Jay Hall. He's probably not.
Listen, but he's listening. From what we've heard about Gus, I would not be surprised if he's heard our channel and is like, screw those guys. I would be surprised.
Where's JG Tate when you need him to do a voiceover?
So I'm massively humbled and grateful for those that have chosen to speak with us, right? And we pass that along to you. To Ike's point, right? These interviews aren't just about getting names. If they don't have anything good to say, I don't care how big your name is. Right. If our members don't benefit from listening to it, and if you listen to the format of these interviews, we really try to ask things in a way that other people are not, so that you get something from it that you would not have gotten from watching it on another outlet. Right. So that is the purpose of building rapport. It is to do exactly as stated in the title, to build rapport with the people who we're talking with. A lot of stuff gets said off camera that we can never repeat. Right. So I got to go through a lot of edits.
What that interview was around 40 some minutes, right? I mean, he was on with us over an hour, just talking beforehand and a little bit afterwards. We just sit and some of them, the reason why you see some people come back, the conversations we have with those guys last hours.
Absolutely.
Literally hours long, just talking about whatever. And they just kind of become, it's a friendship by the end of that conversation. And then they want to come back and talk to us more about more things. So building
that's
rapport
where we
is
actually,
really what it's called for a reason.
Absolutely. That's actually where we build rapport, is after the interview goes. So so definitely.
So
shout out to
I
burner
see you
count.
guys saying all these names. Yes, burner count. Appreciate you very much.
Appreciate you.
Seeing all these names. Look, go on Twitter at that person and be like, hey, man, we want to see you on the War Report. And that's how we'll start that conversation. Maybe they'll click on it and be like, what is the War Report? And see what it is. And it'll pique their interest. Listen, go at them on Twitter. If they're out there on social media, put our name out there in the atmosphere at them. Look, you guys helping advocate for us is more than us just going and making an ask, right? It means that it has some sort of, it means something to the fan base as well, not just some random guys trying to get an interview. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. As we grow, Caesar says it at the top of every broadcast, but sharing our content helps us get you more of the content that you want to see. So to the extent that you guys trust us to be able to do that, I am definitely humbled by that. But I'm starting to see it a little bit more out there. People are sharing. I go into the other forums and eavesdrop on conversations about content that we put down. And so for those of you who are on 247 and Auburn Rivals and these other sites in there kind of sharing our content and discussing it, we really appreciate that as well, too.
I'm laughing at Corey.
Corey down there on the beach making jokes about people. Man, listen, you can't be on family vacation all kicked up with your feet in the sand out here trying to make jokes about the rest of us working, bro. I'm just playing. Appreciate you as always, Corey.
I would love to have Takeo Spikes on. I'd be scared, but I would love to have him on, right? Like I feel like he's just scary, scary guy.
Well, that's you're not alone on that. There's a lot of people who feel that way. So man.
Anybody? Hold on, wait a minute. Why is this? Anybody but Marcelo?
Really? Right. Interesting.
I mean, we hadn't asked him to come on, but it's interesting that you're just like, I don't want that guy.
Yeah. I mean, people seem to have their little preferences about certain writers. We did a building rapport with Gianna Hahn. She's an up and comer. I really appreciated that conversation with her. Once upon a time we had a small platform, right? And so giving others a platform who are really putting in the work to build their craft is also important to me, to help pull others up as we come up as well too. But then there are some guys who are already established and that just really people love or hate them, right? I don't.
Okay, that's one reason. He has a face for radio. Comes off as an Auburn basher at times. So listen, all right. So honestly, that's all the more reason. I like to talk to people who, not necessarily who are going to bash Auburn, but who their opinion I know isn't weighted in fandom. Right? I want to hear.
Right.
Okay,
right.
Let's be honest and air it out. Right. And I'd honestly like to have an interview with someone who I vehemently disagree with on their takes on stuff. Right. Just so I can hear them articulate their point and then articulately destroy it, right? Like I would love to do
that. Yeah,
especially the end result, right?
Yeah,
right. And here's my thing too. If echo chambers are never good, right? So if you follow our comment section, you'll notice I definitely engage. Ike does, Caesar does, right? We engage with people who don't agree with us often. Because if there is an angle that I have not, or perspective I have not considered, you're more likely to learn that from somebody who has a different opinion than you, other than people who agree with you all the time. So I put energy into those comments as long as it's factual. Then I don't mind engaging. I kind of irks me when I go to other comment sections and the creators only respond to people who agree with them. Yeah. So just bring facts to the conversation. Don't bring a knife to the gunfight.
Mike Hicks said Fine Bomb.
Okay, so
I don't know about that. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Fine Bomb for me. He is I don't know that Fine Bomb I've ever heard him like you have to go back to what I said about being able to articulate your points. I don't know that I've ever really heard Fine Bomb articulate an opinion well. He spouts a lot of hot takey stuff.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
Hot take is different than a well thought out opinion.
Yeah. I'd be a notified bomb. I don't think that you all would benefit from that at all. Like, I don't think nobody's learning anything from Feinbaum, like personally. Right.
Yeah. He makes takes that are
he'd be good
definitely
for clicks.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm just not. I'm not into clicky stuff. Right?
Yeah,
like, I need it to
clickbait.
be substantial, and I like I said, I'm welcome to people who I disagree with. I just need them to. I need to feel as if I'm going to get. And maybe I'm judging Paul Feinbaum too harshly because I've never had a conversation with the man, right? And so, maybe there's a Paul Feinbaum that we don't see on his ESPN show and haven't heard on the radio that has some really well thought out. I mean, he's got to be articulate enough to be able to get to where he is. He's a smart enough guy to understand what riles people up and all that sort of thing.
Right.
Maybe,
right.
I won't say completely no, but he is not at the top of the list. I will say that.
He's kind of like a less notorious Skip Bayless, right? Like, everything about him is just controversy over something, right? Like, he's just, I don't know, man. He's about clicks, right? I don't see a ton of integrity in his viewpoints, right?
I love how you guys keep spelling his name like this.
Paul, Paul. Yeah, I mean, it's appropriate, definitely appropriate. Anyway, Caesar, what are we talking about today?
I know, right?
I know, right?
Way out here in the woods right now.
No, we just hanging out with our people in the comments. That's it's good. It's all good. I do want to say this, man, before we really get into it. Eli Stove, Eli
Ed Darby.
No, man. Caesar, talk, man, because
Don't start with me.
Okay. Eli Stove came out last week that he did not pass his physical because he suffered another ACL, a torn ACL.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result was dropped by the Chargers. And I just want to say, man, like, this is like, it hits with me because I know what it's like to be disappointed, but two things have happened that have not happened in my life. I've never had an ACL injury, number one.
Yeah.
And then I've never been that close to getting to the NFL. So I can only imagine what that guy is going through in this moment. And we get criticized for talking about players, but at the same time, I think it's important, man, keep that guy lifted up in prayer, because I don't know where your mental is at in that moment, you know, to have a dream snatched away from you. And it's not to say that he couldn't get back,
right?
But that's just a huge setback. And just want to say to him, man, just as an Auburn alum, someone who loves Auburn, you've already made me proud because you decided years ago to be an Auburn man.
Right.
And because of that, you have an education, you've learned character, you've learned so many things that will allow you to go forth and be successful in life, regardless of what decisions you make or decide to go from here. Right. And when the dust settles, you'll be standing tall with an amazing story that will inspire other people coming behind you to pursue their dreams as you pursuing yours. So as Auburn family, man, you're ours. We keep you lifted up in prayer, man. We keep you lifted up in prayer, and we wish the best and want the best for you. So that's all I got to say about that.
Him as maybe coming on. listen, man, I'd love to have Eli.
Yeah, I'd love to have Eli. Tweet at him.
Tweet at him.
Tweet at him.
Let the Stove know that this is a welcome platform for him to come talk, man. So hopefully he'll come and speak to us.
If you watch Road to the Pros, Anthony Schwartz, listen, Eli Stove is a guy with some stuff to say.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, he is opinionated and, a little bit more outspoken than some other players, too. So I would love to have Eli on to give his thoughts on all things Auburn. Now, he has a history of knee injuries, does he not? Like, this is not his first. Bout with knee injuries.
That's the reason why, he kind of lost his step a little bit. He had injured his knee a couple of times throughout his career. So hopefully, there's still a future for him in doing, if he wants to still play professionally, whether it's in the NFL or some other semi-pro league or, overseas, Canada, whatever it is, he can realize that, again, even if it is in the NFL at some point in the future, or if he just wants to stay close to football and do something else. I think the sky's the limit for him. He seems to be hardworking, dedicated, because every injury he still came back. He was still a contributor on the field. Sure-handed, understood where he needed to be on plays, worked hard. So much respect and props to that man.
Yeah, listen, my man.
I think Harsin would love him just because of him staying around the game despite the adversity he's faced. Like the kid wants to play. He's a ball player, so he would someone Harsin would have loved to have in his system. And he's the type of guy Harsin recruits and goes after. So I have nothing but great things to say about Eli, man.
Yeah, my man Easy is in here saying that he's going to hit Eli up for us.
Okay,
he'll get him on the show. So watch out for that.
You guys give the Bama guy a rest, man. He's welcome as well. You know, I don't particularly appreciate him cursing in our comment section like that on his first comment. But hey, what I'm gonna make sure I get his name in here correctly.
You talking about when he said Roll Tide?
Yeah, that thing.
I was like, wait, did you
Mike?
Yeah, but yeah, Bama Sports, man, definitely welcome to watch the show, man. We appreciate you very much.
When I say it, my tongue just rolls and it's like I choke. Like I don't know how y'all guys say that. But to each his own.
Yeah, listen, I blizzard one.
Exactly.
See, I just tried to say it
right now.
Yeah. So this it's great to be able to hang out with y'all Sunday. Anyway, Caesar, where we going?
Listen, it's come out that Jordan-Hare Stadium will be full this fall. In fact, speaking of Alan Greene, he basically released some comments about that. And I'll read them here. There is nothing like a fall weekend in the loveliest village on the plains, from the pregame pageantry and Eagle Flight to the post-game celebration at Toomer's Corner and all of the shared experiences with friends and family. We are so excited to welcome back the Auburn family to Jordan-Hare Stadium this fall and reintroduce our fans to the best game day experience in the nation. Coming from one of the best ADs in the nation, Alan Greene. Listen, we remember AU football on Twitter. They released around spring Harsin talking to the guys about how Jordan-Hare is our house and it's going to be one of the toughest places that people are going to play in. And it helps to have 87,000+ fans screaming at the top of their lungs as well. Guys, what are our thoughts about Auburn at home this year under Brian Harsin and what that's going to mean for this football team that's starting to put things together?
Yeah, that means home field advantage is back. Truly.
Absolutely.
I believe a packed out Jordan-Hare is one of the toughest places to go play in the country. It doesn't just mean something for us. It means something for a lot of the schools that we're going to be playing. I was looking at tickets to the Penn State game just this weekend, and I'm telling you, them tickets are going for like a G, and they're talking about making that game their whiteout game. They are jacked up about this. Now, I've only been to one other Penn State Auburn game in my lifetime. As a matter of fact, it's the only one I think that's happened in my lifetime. But it was in the Capital One Bowl back in 2003. Their fans are class, right? You know, I had a good experience around their fans. They had a running back, little known running back named Larry Johnson that year that ran for like 2,000 yards. And was a Heisman candidate at the end of the season. But it's going to mean a lot. The packed stadiums are going to mean a lot. The Eagle flying is going to mean a lot.
Right.
The Eagle not flying is just we did a Facts and All where we talked about Facts and All. The Eagle is the best pregame tradition, right, in college football. And I was like, facts. I mean, I don't know about you guys. It's kind of like that feeling you get when they play the national anthem and near the end, you kind of swell up with pride to be an American, right? And like, you get that feeling, right? And when the Eagle lets loose, there's something about that bird flying around the stadium, not clawing people's eyes out and landing at midfield that is unlike anything in college football. And bringing that back, it is going to mean something, especially for this first-year head coach. For him to be a part of that. And listen, man, Brian Harsin, we got to give him an introduction in what it means to be an Auburn Tiger.
Yeah.
He took the job, but he hasn't experienced it yet.
Right.
Even A-Day wasn't
really. It wasn't
right.
it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Get your ass ready, Harsin. It's about to be a party in here. And I mean, when you think about other pregame traditions, right? Like, I mean, I was joking on that segment we did, but this really is the best. I watched Oklahoma tip over a wagon pulled by horses in pregame on field, and they spilled all the little cheerleaders out all over the field. I mean, it was embarrassing. Florida State, they kind of have they march the guy out on the horse and he plants the flaming stick at thing. It's kind of like, all right, man, like that's kind of cool, I guess. I mean, what rivals the eagle flying?
Right.
I'll answer for you. Nothing. That's the best pregame tradition in college football.
Nothing university.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't exist. We have one of the best in-game traditions. And a few years ago, we played Clemson in one of our home series games. And I remember their student newspaper writing an article about what it was like going to Auburn as an opposing fan. And the Clemson people were like, this is one of the best road game experiences we've ever had. People were inviting us into tailgates. They were so nice, and they lost that game, right? And after it was over, nobody was chiding them. And like, I mean, they just said, even in a loss, like we just still felt so welcome after the game. Right. And when you talk, like, again, when we talk to Alan Greene, I really felt like, okay, this guy gets it, man. He embodies what it is like to be, an Auburn fan. Right. And an Auburn alum and a former Auburn student. Now, again, why this is big is, my girl went to VCU. So all she has is basketball every 4 or 5 years. Like, she doesn't get it. Right. And before we started dating, she didn't War Eagle. What is this? What is Auburn? Where is that? Right. And now she's starting to see it everywhere. So we get someplace and we'll see some random person with an Auburn shirt on. And she says, hey, that person has an Auburn shirt on. And they'll see me with my Auburn stuff on and say, War Eagle. And I'm just like, hey, War Eagle. Right. And she's like, what are you guys saying to each other? What is that? Is that code for something? And it means that's family. I've never met this person, but that's how much it means. Now, that school on the other side of the state, they got a lot of sidewalk alumni. A lot. Right. And if you see somebody wearing an Alabama shirt, what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything.
That curse word that y'all seem to can say, but I can't. They say it to anybody. Like, I can't. I don't respond back with War Eagle to them because you're not family.
Right. Yeah.
When they say what they say to me, I'm like, all right, that's good for you. But
I always travel in my Auburn gear. Yeah. Whenever I go to the airport, I'm wearing my Auburn gear because there is no better feeling than strangers stopping me to talk just because I got the A and the U on my chest.
Hey, Mike, this guy relates to you. Mike G Daniel Speller, Mike G describing my experience with every girl I've dated in Chicago.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. I'm telling you, they don't know nothing about it. Right. And so now they're starting to hear about it. And she was just like, what is this? Everywhere I go, I see Auburn license plates now. And I tried to explain to her, I was like, it just means more. But we are more than just football. Yeah. Getting together for football is about more than just football, though. Right? It is a whole ass experience, man. Like, listen, I having packed stadiums is going to mean a lot, not just for the games, but for the community as well, too.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, that tailgate experience that we missed from last year. Like, game day just wasn't. Listen, man, game day was not the same last year. We did game day stuff last year. Yeah. And the energy wasn't the same. I'm looking forward to home games now again. Like last year, it was cool because we still got to watch football, but it was not the same experience.
It wasn't. Absolutely. It wasn't. Yeah. So, I'm just happy. I'm happy that, we're coming out of the other side of this pandemic and, returning to normal, right? Like, I feel for us, those, for everybody who did their part to keep others safe. Thank you. Right. If on the other side of this, I'm just ready to return to some normalcy when it comes to human interaction. Right. And this is a big part of it. So, I lived on the West Coast for so many years and I didn't get to catch a whole lot of Auburn games. Right. The last game I think I attended, Caesar, it was Louisville, Auburn in the Georgia Dome in 2015.
Yeah.
Right. I was in Atlanta on a business trip and you and Deontay came up and we decided to get tickets to the game and go. Once you're moving around, it's not, they don't play anybody regionally out West. The game before that was the national title game when you guys flew out to Pasadena and we went. Right. So I have not had to gotten a chance to physically go to many Auburn games over the last 10 years, living on the West Coast. Now I'm back on the East Coast, and it is going to mean something. It's going to mean something even to go to Penn State in a couple months. Wearing my Auburn gear, I got a Penn State homegirl who's going to meet me there, and just have fun. It's going to be their whiteout game. But this don't underestimate this, man. This is a little known storyline that's going to mean something really to humanity in the fall, right? Yeah. Sports is our escape, right? Some of you guys have said that in our chat, man. Sports is our escape. When I need to shut down from reality for a little while, right? And just really just get angry. I just need to watch some Auburn football. That's why I channel all my anger out. I don't really get mad at much else, but it is a staple of my Saturday. And even whether I'm in person or watching it on TV, right? I wasn't there for the kick six, but having a pack. Can you imagine having a packed state, like an empty stadium for a kick six?
Right.
Is it the same memory?
Yeah. Goodness gracious, no.
Right.
No.
Is it the same memory? Right. Yeah. I'm just saying,
somebody mentioned the prayer at Jordan-Hare. They were there for it, like the stadium erupting, those moments minus the crowd.
Goodness
doesn't
gracious.
Feel the same.
Yeah.
Like the swell that because we told this story about kind of our Auburn story. I used to work in the suites when I was at Auburn. Right. So we rotated our responsibility. So sometimes you were actually on the hallway. Sometimes you got to be in a suite if you were it kind of depends on which, there's 2 floors of suites in Jordan-Hare Stadium, right? So there's a press row and then there's another row. And so there's different levels where you're working. And sometimes you get to work the entrance door, right? The entrance door is the one that you always want to work because you can just walk around the corner and you can watch the game from there. So you actually get to watch the game while you're working. You're basically getting paid to go watch the game. Some of the other places you can't see it. However, if you're in one of the spaces where you can't see the game, you always know when something big is happening because you can hear the swell of the noise just kind of escalates to this ridiculous level. You're like, what the heck did I just miss? And I'm running around. Also, if you stayed in close enough proximity that when I was down there, Brian used to live right off of campus. He and I think I told this story. He and I used to live next door to each other. He used to live right off of campus. And you could hear the stadium from where we used to live, right? And so you could, if you weren't watching the game, you could hear, and there's a little bit of a delay, right? So if you're watching on TV, there's a little bit of delay from what's happening real time, and you always hear it before you see it on TV. And so something big just happened because you could just feel the energy in the air from what was happening at the stadium, man. It's, again, you can't replace that kind of energy with artificial crowd noise and whatever else they were trying to do last year. It's just different.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Ike, or Mike. We went to the Louisville game in 2015, and it's funny when you're either on the road or you're going to a neutral site and you're watching amongst fans of the opposing teams. Maybe I've just been indoctrinated in all things Auburn, but is it me or do other teams' chants sound very terrible to me?
Yeah,
I remember
tune them out.
Yeah, it's we heard Louisville's chant, and I'm like, why did y'all do that?
Yeah. You know
there
what?
Even some in the SEC where I'm just like,
man,
made y'all start doing this?
Yeah.
Listen, when I was in Phoenix, I went to an Arizona State game. They played Michigan, and I had a homegirl who was a Michigan State fan.
That sounds awful experience wise.
Oh my God, it was
Arizona
so bad.
State versus Michigan. That just
Michigan State.
Oh, that's even worse.
Right. And so we're there, and let me tell you what their game day experience was like. This is why packed stadiums are going to mean something, right? 45 minutes before an Auburn home game, the stands are packed because the pregame stuff that we do is such a part of the experience. You're not just going to be wandering outside without a purpose 45 minutes before the game, right? Now, this particular game, Michigan State was coming in ranked 12 in the country. The 12th ranked team in the country is coming into your house, right? And I took a picture and posted on Facebook of what the stadium looked like 45 minutes before it was empty. And one of my friends responded to me and said, "Oh, people are still down on Mill Street. This is a popular street in Tempe, drinking." And I'm like, okay, but you're playing the number 12 team in the country, right? Like, I don't understand this. So they sell alcohol in that stadium, and when there are a bunch of minors around, that usually makes for a bad idea. But they have a chant, to your point about chants. Now, for monetization purposes, I can't repeat the whole thing, but essentially every time they get a first down, they go 1, 2, 3, first down, B word. And I'm like, what is this? I got 19-year-olds screaming the B word in my ear every 5 minutes, drunk. Like it was one of the worst. And then okay, so
space is priceless.
Well, man, listen, this is not the end of it, right? And so I almost got in a fight, right, with this one guy because one of Michigan State's players went down during the game. Now, Auburn fans, I know I don't have to preach to you guys. When a player goes down and he hasn't moved in 60 seconds, we are quiet because you don't know if that man is dead. Football is a rough sport. And out of respect for the other team, we're not chanting "Go Tigers" while somebody is down on the field. Right? And so they're chanting their devil's chant or whatever. And I just said out loud, my inner monologue became my outer monologue. I was like, this is completely classless. And the guy was like, we're not cheering him being hurt. I was like, yes, Sherlock, I get it. Genius. But when somebody is down on the field, generally, the respectful thing is to be quiet until we know he's okay. You clap him off, and then you cheer for your team. It seems like common sense, right? But it's not to their fans because the culture isn't there, right? The history isn't there, and they just don't understand it. And in 7 years and living in Phoenix, that was the only ASU game I ever went to because I tried to explain to people. I was like, it's just not the same. It doesn't mean anything to you guys.
Right.
It's a social gathering for you. Auburn fans go to watch football. And for real community, it's just an excuse for you guys to get drunk.
Right.
That's it. Win or lose, we're out there. We care. I remember after we lost to Florida State, I was so depressed I couldn't even have a beer after the game. Caesar, you remember that? We were like, man, let's just go home.
I was eating, and I might as well have been eating paper. Like, it's just, yeah, man. I'm telling you, it just doesn't mean as much to these other fans. So when we say it just means more in the SEC, that's what we're talking about,
right?
Because we get accused as SEC fans of being elitist. If you raise your hand if you've ever heard, that it's ridiculous that you guys cheer for. Who cheers for a conference, right? Well, we cheer for our conference because we understand when LSU is good and we beat them, it helps us, right? And I cheer for LSU when they're not playing us. There's only one team in the conference I don't cheer for. But I still understand how when they're good, it helps us because we have to play them every year.
Right.
Beating teams that are down all the time don't help you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard to be proud about running the table or winning your conference, and everyone gets in the postseason and gets drugged by teams in other conferences. What did it say about what you did? Like you want to make your regular season wins look good by how the other teams play in the postseason. It just makes sense.
And then they get mad when a 2-loss Bama gets in over them, saying this is rigged, it's cheated. I was like, y'all the ones celebrating mediocrity.
Exactly.
Right? Like, I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand. But I gotta tell you, that ASU game was one of the worst things I have ever gone to in my life. Right? Because the standard that I have for an Auburn home game is so high. And the pride that we have, is so high. Right. And, we're out there, we're pulling for our players. And there's something about when the clock hits 000 and we've won a game.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley Larondo says it's hundreds of hours between January and July that get put in for what are ultimately 42 hours on the field in the fall. And it's not just the players and the coaches, man. It's the fans. The fans are the biggest part of it. That's why our coach can make $5 million a year. If people didn't care, we're not paying him millions.
Right.
We're as big a part of the program as the players and the coaches themselves. Because without intense public interest, you don't have a product.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So having packed stadiums is going to matter. It's going to matter a lot.
And listen, you mentioned the championship game, Mike. I don't know if you remember being out there. And this was my first experience at the Rose Bowl, but to see the number of Auburn fans versus Florida State fans. Listen, I had a homeboy who's a Bama fan at home. He was watching the game. He was like, dude, well, y'all at Jordan-Hare at the Rose Bowl? Because all I heard was Auburn fans.
Yeah, it was. We were deep.
It was amazing, man.
Yeah, we were rolling deep. And when I say deep, 5-1 in a stadium that seats like 95,000.
They were the number one team. They were the number one team in the country.
5-1. Man, it was incredible. You know, another moment that I have from that game about why, you know, again, the game day experience and why it matters was I remember after the game season, we were up, and there's not a bad seat in the Rose Bowl, by the way. The way the stadium is built, like, it doesn't matter if you up at the tippy top, because that's where we were at, right? And there was this young kid, and he was an Auburn fan. And there was this obnoxious Florida State girl, and she was drunk. And after they came back and won, she was literally sticking her finger in people's eyes and like, y'all thought y'all was going to win, and cursing. I won't repeat what she said, right? But this young man started to lose it on this girl. And in my opinion, rightfully so.
Right.
And the greatest thing about our fan base was there were 15 of us Auburn fans around him, and we all grabbed him and said, you know what? We're better than that. Congratulations. Yeah. Great game. Right, because this young man was in his feelings, and I get it, because I felt very disturbed and lost after they came back and won at that last minute.
Yeah,
you know. But even in that moment, instead of riling him up, our fans got this young pup and said, "You know what? Don't fall for it.
Absolutely,
we're better than that." Right? That's what Auburn stands for. That's what the Auburn Creed stands for. And when you watch this interview with Alan Greene, you'll see that this guy gets it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll quote him from the interview. He said, you know, before I became an Auburn man, right, I hadn't realized it, but I was always an Auburn man.
Right.
Because I've always stood for the things that Auburn stands for, which is why it was an easy job to take. You know, so, I mean, again, packed stadiums, don't discount it. It means so much to so many people. That experience means so much to so many people. Right.
We have watched those packed stadiums and what it does to those players. Right. We've watched what it like, and you're in the fourth quarter and you know they're tired. But when they get a jolt of energy from the crowd, it's almost like they forget I've been on the field for a long time.
Yeah,
I shouldn't be going, but they look fresh. They get energized. It's going to mean everything to those guys being at home. When it's the Georgias. You're playing Alabama's. Those games are going to mean something to those kids. So yeah, I'm excited about it, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the guys like Tank, right? Who he's had the experience of being an Auburn player, but he's never stepped into a packed Jordan-Hare stadium,
right?
And done some of the things, like, you know, minus him fumbling the ball after that play. Imagine Tank catching that swing pass in a real game. A linebacker's coming up to try to catch him, and he hits him with that juke move, and the dude's ankles crumble in a packed Jordan-Hare, and then he goes up the sideline and runs into somebody and gets knocked out. Man, that stadium is gonna go nuts. And he's never felt that kind of electricity before, man. Like, it's gonna be so different, man. Like, a lot of these guys who this last year was their first year, they have no idea what they're stepping into. Tiger Walk's going to be different for him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Eagle landing the first time is going to be different for him. You know what I'm saying? That first win where you get to celebrate with the crowd is going to be different for him. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it's going to be it's going to be crazy, man. Like, I actually feel bad for Akron.
Right. Yeah. They're going to be.
Akron's going to be stepping into the Tiger cage, man. And fresh meat just got dropped in there, man. Like, they're going to go nuts in the stadium game one against the team that is way undermatched. And like, hopefully emotions allow everything to go off without a hitch. And it's not just a bunch of high emotional, like, craziness going on where they're missing assignments because it's so wild. But like, I feel bad for Akron that Jordan-Hare is going to be rocking game one against a team that it normally, like, it'd be kind of a docile.
It's gonna feel like a conference game with an outmatched opponent.
For sure. Yeah, man. I can't wait for that. Can't wait for that. And for those of you who sat in your house for a year to try to be socially responsible, you deserve this.
Yeah.
Right. If you've been sitting around at home without human contact, trying to be safe for a year, right? This moment is for you as well, too. Right. Like, so I'm ready for it. I was very happy to hear him say that.
Indeed. Well, listen, man, go ahead, and since we're at a good point in the show, man, let's talk about what all we got coming up this week, man. For those who just got on.
I won't take too long, but listen, we are partnered with the Lee County Humane Society to raise money for a good cause. This is the good that we've chosen to put back into the world, rescue animals. I have one, Ike has one. This is Milo and Albie that you see here. They are good for the soul. We want to help other people find that same joy. So you can visit our GoFundMe. The link is right here at the bottom, but you can also find it on our YouTube page in the About section. 50 cents on every dollar goes to help us raise money for a good cause. They've been gracious in partnering with us. You can go to their website and also find that we're an official partner with them. So please, anything that you can do, no amount is too small. Insiders, we have a lot of stuff coming your way in the coming weeks. Your game day experience, not just insiders, but supporters, will be exclusive to you. So the goal behind that is just to provide a troll-free environment for Auburn fans to get together on game day. We're going to chop it up with you. We have got some surprises planned. So if you haven't been with us through a season, we go live pregame, halftime, and then postgame. So this season, that will be exclusive to our YouTube members. So please sign up, whenever you can, because we also have some pre-recorded segments that we'll be doing that will go behind that wall as well, and it will be exclusive for you. So you guys have been supporting us. We're taking that. We're building more content specifically for you. Our merch store is live, right? So you can get your merch in the About section of our YouTube channel as well. We're giving away some merch today. Hashtag get your weight up. If you, at the top of the broadcast, if you did not see this, hashtag get your weight up. Please spell it right. Double, triple, check your spelling, because our giveaway machine will not catch it if you do not spell it right. So we're going to give away a t-shirt. If you win, you have to be here and you have to answer us in the comment section, or we will redraw. We do it live, so you guys know it's not rigged. You guys jumped all over Isaac the first time he did this, and he was like, "Man, let me put this up here so the people can see it's on the up and up." Looking forward to giving that away. And then last but not least, our interview with Auburn Athletic Director Alan Greene. You've heard me mention it quite a bit during this broadcast. This is a tremendous conversation with an absolute fantastic man. I'm proud to have him as our athletic director, representing us and our values and our beliefs. He believes in Auburn. He loves it. He is doing the best he can for our student athletes, to make sure that they get the most out of their college and athletic experiences. Here's a little teaser from that interview. There was a lot of speculation about who the next guy was going to be. A lot of people felt like, if you're going to pay a buyout like that, you need to go and get somebody high profile. You went a different direction in hiring Brian Harsin.
Auburn is a fantastic job. It's a hard one. It's not made. Everyone is not made for that job. Each institution has its own unique set of circumstances. Well, if they won 10 games or 11 games at school X, that's going to translate at our school. It doesn't work like that. It was really, really important that the next coach came in and won the locker room.
Let me tell you something. This conversation was tremendous. And I'll tell you, he said some stuff, and he's a class act. So, he didn't say it in a hot takey way. But, you heard the man there, right? Not everybody is built for this smoke at Auburn.
Yeah.
And so you can want a guy to be our coach, but it doesn't mean he's built to be an Auburn man.
Right.
And, I think they really took that in consideration when they went out to try to find the next coach. I asked him some other questions about why Brian Harsin. He answered that. So go check out that interview tomorrow. It goes live at 10 a.m. For everybody else. And our insiders and supporters have actually had it since Saturday. So we appreciate you guys. I see how many views we've gotten that. It's actually the most, I can see this, the most viewed interview we've had pre-release to the general public, right?
Awesome.
We got more. Believe it or not, this is only the tip of the icebergs. We've got even better interviews coming in the future. So stand by.
Also, too, we got some people talking about a possible War Report tailgate in the fall. So something.
Listen,
We talking, guys. We
yeah,
talking. We talking about it behind the scenes. So
right. So you can find the link to our GoFundMe in the About section of our YouTube channel.
Right.
If you want to make this happen, we're definitely going to need your support there. So I would love to make a War Report tailgate happen. This is what community is about, man. If we all come together, we can definitely make that happen. But I would love to do at least one big tailgate during the fall. That would be amazing.
Shout out to our guy Felix out there in the comments. Risk no reward. Appreciate you.
Get well, buddy.
Get well, man.
Yeah, man.
Everybody who doesn't know, when we were doing the Bo Jackson card giveaways, Risk no reward was the one who sponsored those giveaways for us. So his eBay store is still out there for you guys to go out there and support what he's doing. Many props to him and all of you all for continuing to rock with us, man. I see a lot of you all in the comment section who we comment and joke around with a lot, man. We appreciate you all every week, man. You guys show up here with us and it's amazing. It's been amazing. This has been an amazing ride for us. I've enjoyed every single episode of coming out here, kicking it with you guys every week, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's amazing that you rock with us, but again, it's all about community, and I believe we've built an amazing community within an already amazing community, which is the Auburn family. So thank you guys for being a part of it. Listen, let's get into the last part of the show. We've been putting this topic off for a while because we've had a lot going on with the transfer portal, guys coming and going, but it's here because things are slowing down. So we can talk about it now. Let's talk about playoff expansion. All right. The College Football Playoff Committee met a couple of months ago now to talk about the possibility of expanding from a 4-team playoff format.
Right.
There's an article actually that came out recently. I forget which publication it was. I think it was behind a paywall, but they talked about the possibility of if opening up a playoff expansion could potentially lead to potential more blowouts in the playoffs, because you're putting teams in the playoffs that are probably outmatched by the 4 top teams that are already there. I mean, past few years, you can name 3 of the teams that you can almost count on being there: Bama, Ohio State, Clemson. You know what I mean? Bama missed it 1 year, I believe. Or did they? I think they made it. I think there may have been 1 year they may have missed it. But for the most part, it's been those 3 teams and somebody else, right? And so the argument is that, do you guys think that this is I think it's a good thing, but do you think it's a possibility that by expanding the playoffs, that it could lead to more potential blowouts because there are teams that are just outmatched by whoever's the top 3 seeds? What are your thoughts?
So yes, I do think that there's a potential for that. The reason why I think that potential is so high, though, is because I don't really like the way the playoff committee picks who they put into those spaces. I'd like to see more people get a bite at the apple, because I don't think they get it right with the top 4 every year. Right. So maybe, some of those teams that are just outside will have an opportunity. I think that first game, we'll have some blowouts. I think you have a better potential in the next matchup, though, getting some teams that were fringe teams, right, that were in that 5-6 spot that would possibly be able to win a game against a 3 or 4, right? And then you subsequently get a better matchup that next time around for those final teams. And I think that that's the thing that I would be looking forward to most. Not necessarily that first round of whatever's going to happen, but that second and last round, I think you truly will get the best teams in college football if they are going to be able to do that, and you will get an opportunity for more teams to see that. But unfortunately, what you will also see happen is the Big 12 and Pac-12 will likely get seats at this table every year now. And I'm sorry if you're a fan of those teams. I know we have a USC fan that comes in here from time to time. Nobody actually wants to see those teams in the finals unless they are amazing teams that year. And I have not seen amazing come out of either of those conferences in a long time.
So some of y'all are saying that Bama missed it in 2019. I thought that was at least 1 year that they did miss it. So appreciate that. What I want to ask is that if they expand it. So let's talk about possibilities, right? 16. I've heard the 16 perhaps maybe give the 1-2 seed a bye. All right. Yeah. Okay. If we go that route, are we still going? Because again, there's going to be a push to get a representation from all the major conferences and maybe pick one from the group of 5. Right.
Right. Which 9 times
Mike G, talk to me about that.
Notre Dame is going to end up
your face almost folded in half at the sound of that. How should they do that, Mike?
So here's my deal. No matter how much you expand, you still need to pick, if it's 8 teams, you still need to pick the best 8 teams.
Right.
I don't care what conference they're from. You still need to pick the best 8 teams. Now, if you look at past years, there are some years where that might mean a Boise State or a Utah, or one of those fridge teams that, Utah wasn't always in the pack, right? Where they get in and we get to see what they're made of versus top competition. I think that's something that's gotten lost. UCF a couple of years ago, maybe they're not, they don't belong. Maybe they do. Who knows? We don't get to see it very often. All I know is that the blowouts that you're talking about, we see anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And I say that's because I think the committee gets it wrong.
Because they don't pick.
Stop putting Notre Dame in there.
Right. I mean, if expanding the playoff means we get to see Texas A&M in the playoff last year, I'm all about it. I just don't want to hear the crying every year when 3 SEC schools get in.
Right.
Right. I mean, that's the thing where I'm cringing, because you still got to pick. Look at the top 10 of the standings every year, the final standings. It'd be really easy to throw 3 SEC schools in there just based on strength of schedule. Now, I'm not upset with that because we're in the SEC. But I still think that you have to, expanding it, you give other schools a chance, right, to get in, but you still have to pick the best 8 teams. Right. And a 2-loss SEC team likely had a very, very, very good season. And if some team like Boise is undefeated in the Mountain West without a marquee non-conference win on their schedule, I don't know that they get in over a 2-loss Bama, depending on what everybody else does.
All the more reason why Brian Harsin wanted to be in this conference.
Yeah, right.
I
mean, listen, he was pushing for Boise to jump to another conference when he was there. If I remember reading it correctly, because he understands they were just never going to get the type of clout they needed to jump in to that top 4. Now he's at Auburn, right? And I mean, just as long as we're still picking the best 8, I'm good with it. Yeah, because there is. I mean, you can't expand this thing too big, man, because it's football and it's a contact sport and it's harder on your body than any. And more games means more potential for injury, and they still have academic responsibilities, and But I also would like to say that I'm in favor too of also somewhat. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, but in the first round games, limiting. I want it to be a true neutral site. Right. When they expanded the playoff, Caesar, you remember after 2013, because that was the last year of the BCS and we played in it. And after it was over, you remember what it was like. We have a friend group that does a guy trip every year. And we usually hold out to see what Auburn's doing, because if they're going to make it to the national title game, that's going to be our trip. And we can start planning after SEC championship and have a month to get it together, about a month and a week to get it together before the game. Well, now if you're playing in a playoff game, if I had to pick which game I'm going to, I definitely want to hold out hope that my team is going to make it to the title game and go to that one. But very few people have the financial resources and the time to go to all of them, and it's expensive.
Right.
Average ticket price of that BCS game was $2,000 a pop, or $2,400. I think $2,400 a ticket. We ain't pay that, but because we had hookups. But my point was just, who can afford to do this 3 times in a month?
Yeah.
Right. And so I just want to see, if I don't think any team, just because their fans, they have more fans, should have a home field advantage truly in a college playoff game. I would just like to see 2 teams duke it out on a truly neutral site. You're not going to stop. If Auburn fans are going to travel, we're going to travel. So you're not really going to stop that. But I just want to see a neutral site game where it's not a home game for some team just because you were a smaller group of 5 school that got in. Your fans don't travel as well.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So like, I mean, I know that's probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but pick the best 8. And then go from there, but you have to limit it. I'm not in favor of expanding past 8 teams,
though. Okay, I'm with you there. Erica Radney had to remove the politics. I agree, Erica, but here's the problem with college sports. It's always ties back to money. So how can you fully remove? How can we achieve an unbiased system?
Yeah, it's going to be politics for somebody.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, because at the end of the day, right, in the NFL, they set the teams and then either you get in, you either have the record to get in or you don't.
Right.
So it's not politics. There are too many teams in college football to do that. So it's not just about records. Somebody has to subjectively decide that you are one of those top teams.
Right.
So someone's always going to have a gripe, whether it's 4, 8, or 16. There's always somebody who's going to be sitting at 17.
Look how many schools make it into the NCAA tourney in basketball, and someone always feels like they got left out.
Yeah.
There's not going to be. There is no way that you're going to It's just not possible. Yes, it's literally impossible to take politics out of college football.
But here's what's good about basketball, right? Is that come tourney time, what I like that they do is that if you win your conference tournament, you're in. You are the champion of if you are the champion of your conference, you're in.
If you are in the bubble, you can get out of the bubble by winning your conference championship.
Right. Doesn't matter if you win and forever, right? You win your conference tournament, you're in. Automatic berth. Right. So but we can't, that's not achievable in football. So there's always going to be a little bit of it that's subjective, right? By expanding the conversation, you do give more teams a chance. But I think what you're going to find is going to happen is that the gap between the SEC and the other conferences are going to be even more apparent in an 18 playoff. And people are just going to complain about half the playoff being SEC teams. That's going to happen year in and year out. And I'm not going to want to hear it. And to your point, Ike, I just don't want to have no conversation about any Pac school right now.
Yeah,
they are the worst conference, man. Is there a conference that has consistently underperformed on the big stage more than the Pac, other than Notre Dame?
I'm about to say the Big 12 is the only other conference
right behind them
that is underperforming on the big stage. But yes, Notre Dame is the school that has traditionally gone up there. And what's crazy about
I
Notre
think
Dame
they need to make them join the conference because they're independent again this year.
Yeah.
They need to make them join the conference.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to expand this form, or if you're going to do any tweak into the playoff format, you got to get rid of independents because they have a clear shot. Especially in Notre Dame likes to play like Stanford. Stanford's not good no more. Like they're playing these teams that
Now, I respect Notre Dame's schedule this year. They have a hard schedule this year. If they
play North Carolina.
If they make it through the gauntlet that they have set up this year, I think that they will deserve a shot. But the question is, how many games will they allow Notre Dame to lose and still be in contention?
Yeah, I guess this schedule's hitting on something.
Yeah, they've got a decent schedule this year. Take a look at it.
Who's at it? North Carolina. North Carolina's one. Who else is on it?
I don't see North Carolina. Oh yeah, UNC, Virginia Tech, Wisconsin, Florida State, USC, Georgia Tech, Stanford.
So it's a decent schedule, but they're taking the mid-tier schools in the Power 5 conferences, basically. Right. I don't know that they have any powerhouses on their schedule. North Carolina is probably the best team on that schedule.
I would give North Carolina this.
On its face right now. Of course, they haven't played a single game. But
right. Yeah, Virginia Tech might end up being somewhat formidable. And then USC, who knows? But this schedule could also end up being really bad on paper at the end of the season as well, too. So
correct. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
My question is, how many games are they going to allow them to lose in that schedule? And then, and then it's going to matter who they beat, right? If they lose to the two of the worst teams, but then they pull off some kind of upset against the better teams, is that going to mean anything? So anyway, regardless, to your point, Caesar, they need to be in a conference.
They need to be in a conference. They need to be in the conference.
Because
and we need to be objective. We need to be objective because last year they were in the ACC because they had to be.
Correct.
Got drubbed in the conference championship and still land no.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
Let the bias go with them.
I got issues with Brian Kelly too. Like, I just have issues with Brian Kelly because they had a video. I mean, kind of related but unrelated. They had a video guy who died at practice. And I took issue with it because I was a video guy at practice. And they set this kid up in a scissor lift in 30-mile-per-hour winds. And the lift blew over and he died. And ever since then, I just like shut the whole program down. Like, I mean, again, like your practice was not more important than sending this kid up in a lift. Not one coach said, hey, man, maybe that video guy didn't need to be up there. Right. I mean, I've done it, from the end zone to get to the different fields. If they don't have towers, right, they move scissor lifts around. I think that a lot of schools have abolished that lately, right, because of safety issues. But yeah, I've been up in that scissor lift. It's terrifying to be, 30 feet in the air on a big piece of metal. Yeah. And he tweeted right before he died, this is terrifying. If I was him, I would just have pulled it down. You're going to have to fire me. I'm not going to be up there with a camera. 30 mile per hour. I mean, just Notre Dame. I have so many issues with Notre Dame, right? I just feel like, again, they're like kind of like the independent Alabama of football. They invented it. They just deserve, like, there's a sense of entitlement around their program. And I'm just like, what have y'all done to deserve to even be in the conversation year in and year out, other than just blow it every time you get there? When they played Bama in 2012, I told every friend I had, I was like, this is not even going to be a good game.
Most people who watched the SEC knew that was going to that bad game.
Yeah, it was a bad game. ESPN tried to hype it up.
Manti-Te'o and all this crap, and it's like, nah, that ain't gonna get it, bro.
Yeah, Captain Catfish.
Notre Dame catfishing college football while making people feel they're a legit team.
There's a catfish in college football.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, they catfishing us hard every year, right? So I'm not. I'm just you can expand this playoff, right? But just pick the best 8. Yeah. That's it. Right. I'm not in favor of going much further past 8 because I don't think there are 16 teams that deserve to be in a playoff every year. I just don't. I think it's a waste of games. I think you can find 8 solid teams, and then we can and then the 9 and 10 will complain still that they deserve to be in. But at least it will give a reasonable shot to one of those group of 5 schools to get in if they're sitting on an undefeated season and a marquee non-conference win.
Yeah.
Right. So if you opened up with Bama and you just happen to win that game and then you finish out your schedule, yeah, you should be in on the 18 playoff.
And I think you will see some better quality. Like, you may see a blowout here and there, but you will see more quality games because the teams who fall into the list of 8, let's say they go 8, you're going to have less odds. Right.
Yeah. Like think about that Cincinnati Georgia game last year in the bowl. Right. Yeah. Like that would have likely been a
great playoff game.
Yeah, that'd have been a great playoff game. And then you get to see the winner of that game go play somebody like Clemson, right?
Next, yeah.
That's great television, man. That's great football happening right there.
Yeah, man. I see Gabrielle talking about how her dad is an alum and they grew up on Notre Dame football, but they need to join a conference. Getting by on legacy. That's what I want to do away with. Right. Getting by on. And Michigan was doing that for a while, and finally they got exposed. And this whole legacy thing.
Texas was doing it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. So for the school with that many resources, just be good or sit down, man. I'm tired of watching teams they don't have no business in there. Right?
Yeah, I'm all for merit over legacy at this point. What is your merit? Are you a good team? How do you look on the field? Right? Are you winning your games? If you're not, if you look like you don't belong in your conference championship game, why would I put you in the playoff?
Right.
Notre Dame.
Simple as that. If you get ran off the field, if the other team is worlds better than you in your conference championship game, I'm supposed to believe that you're going to be competitive in the playoff?
Yeah, no thanks, man. I'm telling you, no thanks.
Knock it off.
Yeah, playoff expansion is got to be. I mean, ultimately, it comes down to money, right? We know that about the NCAA.
Sure,
it just comes down to money. If it's going to make them money, it's going to be profitable. They'll find a way to do it.
Well, if you want these players to stop foregoing your bowl games, you better make that bowl game mean something to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Fact.
Yeah.
Fact.
You don't see basketball players opting out of the tournament.
Nope.
Right.
Ever. Citing injury concerns.
I don't even know if they opt out of NITs, right? Like, because that tournament means something to those players. As much as these bowl games, when these bowl games start meaning something again, you're going to see less of the marquee players decide, hey, I'll just wait and go start on my NFL career now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We played Wisconsin in 2003. It was after the 2003 season, so technically it was 2004. It was in the Music City Bowl.
Is that the game where
it was
won it and then lost it, and then won it and lost it again, like 6 times?
Yeah, they had Lee Evans was playing for. He eventually became a pro receiver for Buffalo, but he's playing for Wisconsin at the time. And I was just like, I was filming it, like, why are we here? This game is boring. That is one of the most boring games I've ever been a part of. It meant nothing to the players, really. Like, I mean, it was just not a good game. Right. And so you're right. I agree 100%. Like, make these bowl games, put your energy into making these bowl games mean something again. Yeah. Right.
So they got to figure, like, I do think that college football's postseason is hurting right now.
Yeah.
And they've got to figure out a way to make it more meaningful. Like every bowl game basically means nothing outside of those playoff games.
That was 2005 because I think we had Gibbs was the defensive coordinator against Wisconsin. You said,
yeah. I mean, we played Wisconsin in the Music City Bowl.
Was it Penn State? You may be thinking Penn State.
No, Penn State was at the end of the 2002 season, headed into 2003, I believe. Or maybe it was, maybe I have that backwards, but it was just a boring bowl game. I drove up to Nashville for that game, and I was just like, you know what? I wasted my travel money on this. It was not good versus Wisconsin.
I think the game I'm talking about was close. It was like, I think 2009 was the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
Because I know Chiswick was the head coach that game, and we barely won, and it was like sloppy at the end of it. Like, a bunch of controversial crap going on with that.
Yeah, it was 2003. It was December 31st, 2003. We won the game 28-14, but it was a boring 28-14. It was god awful. Not a good game. So I mean, make them mean something again. There's too many meaningless bowl games. Right. You know, let's get some life into this thing. I like the playoff has given us, you know, if you're a fan, it created another dynamic. Like I said, man, I mean, you know, even in a 14 playoff, unless one of those playoff games is regional to you, like, who's going to watch that? Right? Who's flying to Dallas from the East Coast to watch the playoff game?
Marcus. It was Northwestern. That's the Chiswick game. That's right. That game was ridiculous at the end. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, Chris Todd was our quarterback during that game, was he not?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was kind of a crazy game. Didn't we go like 5 overtimes or something like that?
Yeah, it was so crazy. Like, we had the game won, and then there was a bunch of stupid stuff. It was I was frustrated that entire fourth quarter. I was frustrated that entire because we looked like we were going to win that game running away, and then we just started screwing up. Anyway,
yeah, make them mean something again. I'm with it.
Agreed. To answer Philip's question, do y'all think the NBC TV deal is keeping Notre Dame? Oh, absolutely. I would think that would play a definite part in it for sure.
Right. And let me
that's why I don't like NBC for that.
Right. So I don't know if you guys remember the almost demise of the Big 12, where Texas A&M came to the SEC with Missouri, and Texas was shopping for a home. And their Longhorn network that they signed was keeping them from joining any other conference.
Colorado left to go to the Pac-12. Like they were like hemorrhaging schools at one point.
Yeah. I mean, essentially the Pac told, because Texas was like, we're not going anywhere without Oklahoma. And Oklahoma said, we're not going anywhere without Oklahoma State. Right. And then the Pac told them, listen, you can come, but you can't bring the Longhorn network with you. Right, which was a big reason why Texas A&M jumped from the Big 12 and came to the
Nebraska.
SEC.
Yep, they left too.
uneven revenue sharing. They were like, listen, like we have just as many resources, and you claim to be the big draw, but your Longhorn network creates an unfair recruiting advantage in the state. And like it just wasn't. It's like a $300 million deal they signed with ESPN, and they just said no, thank you. And then they got humbled real fast. Right, the Big 12 almost fell apart over it. So yeah, so the point is, yes, that TV deal will keep them because they couldn't bring that to the SEC or even the ACC.
Yeah,
right. Long term, nobody would have it. No, none of the other member institutions would agree to that.
How long is that deal in place?
Oh man, it was a long time. I thought it was like 12 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a ridiculous. I would be shocked if NBC even wants to renew that deal. Like, do they benefit at all from that other than having something to show on football Saturdays? Like, what are they getting out of Notre Dame football?
Yeah, I don't
for something else.
Yeah, they signed it in 2013, and it's an extension that runs from 2016 to 2025.
Jesus, we still have 4 more years of this.
Yeah, so they got 4 more years on that deal. Wow.
Yeah, the article by Sporting News is why is Notre Dame not in the conference, and that's one of the reasons. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They just need to get over themselves and join a conference. They do it in basketball.
Yeah. That's the ACC all over again. So it's just weird. It's weird.
And then they joined the ACC last year for 1 season, did they not?
Yeah, because they needed to play somebody.
They had to play. Yeah, they had to play. It was all conference games, so they had to join the conference.
Yeah. Right? Backfire. Man, screw them. I'm funny. I really dislike Notre Dame.
Shout out, welcome Dustin.
Welcome, Dustin.
Poor family man.
Dustin's been been commenting for a while. I feel like he's not a new person to the War Report, but we appreciate you hopping on and getting that membership popping, man.
Yeah, listen, that membership is significant. We are dropping hella insider content coming up.
We got so much, man. I'm not gonna spill the beans until we get it ready, but trust when I say the insider content as we get into the season, that membership is going to mean so much more. It's just I think every couple of weeks coming up in the next month or so, we're going to be dropping something new for our insiders. So those of you who have been faithfully paying that membership so far, and you've been getting something out of it, the cost that you're paying per month, we're doubling the equity of that right now. It's like buying low on a stock. We're doubling that equity.
Absolutely.
Coming up soon. Trust me.
Yeah, get in now. It's funny. I got another member before we do this drawing. I had somebody in another forum say, like, you guys ever get tired of talking about Bo? And I feel like we've really backed off talking about Bo the last few weeks or whatever. But
this is the first time he's been mentioned all day today.
Yeah, right. But I'm like, it's the off season. I don't know what you expect us to talk about twice a week for 7 months. Right. But when you have a quarterback battle of note, it's going to get dissected from every angle until the season starts. And just kind of comes with that. So to the extent that we're continuing to bring you guys content consistently every week, and then improve on that content to bring you even more, your support means a lot, right? Like, so I can't stress enough what Isaac said. You're going to really enjoy being an insider during the season because what we're building essentially is our in-game community for the season as well too.
Exactly.
And
that's the correct word. We're building the community of people who we want to share that post, that pregame and that halftime joy, frustration, whatever it ends up being. You got to be a member to come in and talk with us during that time because it's going to be unfiltered. We're just going to be giving y'all raw emotion. So
we got to keep trolls out of that for you as well too, right? And so like, if a troll will pay to come troll, okay, all right, game on. But most of them will not, right? And so that's going to be a premium experience for you. Sean Feely is asking about when it's already live for you, brother. If you're an insider, just go to the Building Report playlist and find it and click play. And that's it.
If your membership is supporter level, then it will be tomorrow. But if you're an insider,
supporters got
it too. All right, so if you're a member, it should be live for you.
You should see it.
So, all right. So we want to draw something, Isaac?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hashtag get your weight up.
I will give you 15 seconds to get your hashtags in there. You only get one entry, so dropping the hashtags multiple times won't get you any additional. It's got to be spelled correctly. It's got to be hashtag all one word. But we are about to do this in 3, 2, 1. Get it going.
My money's on Gabrielle this week.
Oh, this is like the roulette wheel right now spinning.
Who is it going to be? Oh, Austin Holland.
Congratulations to Austin. If you are present,
yeah.
Austin,
That's right.
I need to see your name pop up here saying I'm here before I congratulate you.
60 seconds ago. Austin, just throw us one more. Just let us know you're here. I saw him hashtag get your weight up 60 seconds ago. Austin.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Austin, you are the winner of a War Report Get Your Weight Up t-shirt. That's one of the new joints that we have with the embroidery. So if you have a Get Your Weight Up t-shirt from before, we did some slight changes to it. We kind of upgraded the quality. Listen, I keep trying to tell y'all, the more you support us, the better we are going to be. We are going to upgrade everything we can possibly do. We've been upgrading cameras around this mug. We've been updating computers around this mug. We are trying to be the best possible product we can possibly put out here on the internet for you all. And that includes upgrading what this merch looks like. Appreciate you, Erica Radney, from jumping in here and getting that membership popping. So the merch quality is going up, man. So you're going to get one of the new joints that has the embroidered Get Your Weight Up logo on there. I think I'm gonna drop some embroidered War Report logo joints on there coming up soon. We got the by special request of Mike, I went in there and we got the dry fit joints now. So that's in the merch store.
Nice.
Listen, man, I'm trying to tell y'all, man, I'm gonna be a good steward of your money, is all I'm trying to say to you. You putting it in good hands. I'm gonna make sure we get the quality stuff popping up for you guys, man. And we got so much more we're gonna be providing for you because you all continue to support us. We appreciate it. So listen.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do.
You may have to look into getting B. Will a whiteboard to sketch out the Jimothy and Kirby arguments there. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Gonna be like watching somebody, like, you know, when you watch those crime shows where they have the big boards and you see them pointing all the things. Oh, yeah. That's probably what the B. Will logic tree is gonna look like. Trying to sketch out that argument. So yes, we appreciate y'all.
All right. Well, one more time for the road, man. For the people who have been under a rock by this point, what we got dropping tomorrow, man?
Listen, man, I've talked to you guys about insider membership, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you again, we've partnered with the Lee County Humane Society. Hit our GoFundMe. If you are feeling generous, we use that money to grow content for you. And we donate 50 cents on every dollar to them to help save animals. This is our good deed that we've chosen for the foreseeable future. Alan Greene tomorrow. If you are not a member of our channel, you will get this interview tomorrow. Please share this interview. Share links on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you're on. And drop a comment, hit like, and then drop a comment and engage with us. You know, even if it's just, hey, we love this interview, we don't like this interview, we take all the feedback, whether good or bad, but we want it. So just let us know what you think. You know, this is a guy shaping a lot of what we're talking about. Yeah. This is a guy in charge of it. So this can't be understated how important it was that he took time to sit down and talk to us, because this is where we get a lot of our opinions from on where the program is at and where it's headed. So, yep, just go check that out, definitely.
And please do, again, man, I can't say it enough. Be sure to share these videos as well as the interview. You can add us at the War Report. Use hashtag Get Your Weight Up. At the beginning of the show, you guys mentioned a lot of people you would love to see on the War Report. You know how you can get us on those people's radar? By sharing our content so that it'll reach masses of people. Let's not keep it enclosed with us. It's not a secret. We want everyone who's Auburn family to know that we're out here so that we can expand our reach and reach more people and get some of the interviews you've been craving for. We can get those people on here and create even more content for you guys. So that'll help us out a ton. Please be sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't already. I've already mentioned the War Report at the War Report on Twitter, but we're also on Instagram. If you're an Instagram user, please follow us there. We are also TW Report on TikTok. Signing off, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a great week. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.